What's good, everyone? We're back for the round 16 review. So, as you can see this week, we actually scored less than last week. And last week was a buys week. So, full best 22 this week. And yeah, we put up 2,247, 44,000 for the week. So, look, we only slipped back about 124 spots. So, it's not putrid, but geez. It's like there's not even that many levers we can pull. We've only got the 4 trades left, so just a bad horror week, I mean, you'll see it in a minute, but terrible week. It really was. And yeah, I don't want to get too down on it because at the end of the day, you guys saw last week, I came 200th for the week. So it's last week was so good, this week's so bad. So it's I don't really know what to think, But anyway, we'll get into it. Just looking at the team, as you can see, who really let me down here? Hayden Young, Nick Martin, Charlie Cano, those are probably the big ones you would point to. LDU, who I pumped up a lot last week, but he did really let me down here. Gorn and Grundy as well. I think maybe not so much them two because, again, they're pretty common players. A lot of people have them. But, yeah. And a lot of the other rocks didn't do too well this week either. Besides maybe a Nankervis for anyone that had him or something like that. A Tristan Cherry, some people have. But yeah. TDK, Tom DeConning laid out. That would have hurt a lot of people that had him. Well, not that many people do, but the few people that did that are having him as a pod. Geez, that would have killed. Anyway, yeah, unlucky if you did. But yeah, going back to my team. So Dacos captain, and yeah, I was tossing and turning, all week. I was like, who do I go? I did say last week in my Thursday or Friday video, I was going to go LDU into Dacos. I did switch that last minute, and I went Zorko instead of LDU. Either way, it wouldn't have really mattered because I wouldn't have taken either of their score, as you could see here. So yeah, Captain Dacos, who got 1 more point than Zorko. So still ended up winning there. To be honest, I think captaincy matters, but it's not really the be-all end-all captaincy. It doesn't make that huge a difference. Say whether I captain Dacos this week or Bontempelli, I mean, I only lost 41 points on captaining Dacos. I think a lot of people kind of don't really, not don't understand it, but haven't actually looked at the maths of it, because this was just some stuff that I was thinking 18 days ago. This is I never used a notepad. I just did it at this point. I was going to get Ridley in. As you can see, that didn't happen. I was going to get Will Day in. That didn't happen. Rankin, that didn't happen. So we can get rid of all that stuff now. But yeah, as you can see, captaincy doesn't really matter too much. It does certainly matter a bit, but it's not the be-all end-all. Dacos 116, that's below what you would usually want for a captain. Bontempelli 157, that's above what you would usually expect for a captain. So what I got for Dacos this week, so I got 116, and that was twice. Plus, I got only one of Bontempelli because I didn't captain him. So that equals 389. You can do the maths on that if you want, but it does. And then Bontempelli. So if I did captain Bontempelli, what would have happened was I got 2 of him. So it would be 157 plus 157 plus just 1 of Dacos, which is 116. And that equals, I believe it's 430. So I really only lost 41 points, as you can see. It's I think some people get caught in the trap of thinking because you double it, it's worth 2, so it's 82 points, but no, it's only worth 41. So it's really in most weeks, whether your captain gets 120 to 140, it's not making a huge difference. It's 20 points, either way. So I'm not too stressed over that. It's really the rest of my team which is scarring me. Dan Houston as well. How did I not even get into him? Yeah, he was very, very, very bad on the weekend. Yeah, I mean, if we just get into Dan Houston, just did not want the ball, just didn't look anywhere near it really from what I was seeing, and Kane Farrell's really taken a lot of his role and is really taking a lot of those kicks, which Houston would be the guy that usually bites them off. Sheasel 103 is okay. Dacos 116, again, didn't get into the game until later, but it's alright. At least Probably should have scored more in the end, to be honest, but his kicking was a bit wayward late in the game. Luke Ryan, 116. Yeah, a few good intercept marks there. Happy that he's still scoring well, even if he's not going to be chipping it around a lot in the backline. Hayden Young, 62. So again, this was another guy I was pumping up a few weeks ago. Or last week. I was like, look, he kicked 3 goals, playing the Dustin Martin role, And what happens this week? 62, in a win as well, He was, again, playing that same role, forward and mid. And, yeah, just the 17 touches. 3 free kicks against, that's gonna hit. And yeah, 0 goals this week. He did get banned. I remember a few times they really could have kicked into him and should have kicked it to him in the forward 50, but they just didn't. So that hit. However, if we look at his fixture for the next few weeks, it's quite good. Richmond, Hawthorn was going to be probably pretty tough, but then Melbourne is on the easier side, especially at home. West Coast at home, who aren't in good form, but did beat them early in the year. Geelong at home shouldn't be super difficult at the very least. These 2 ones might be difficult, and Essendon and the G might be kind of difficult. But, Fremantle, that's definitely a winnable game for them. So yeah, we'll see. I think I'll definitely hold Hayden Young, at least for the next, till round 22. Probably for the end of the season, but look, at least for the next few weeks. Okay, and then, yeah, disappointing, but hey, I'll just hold. Look, he was up against Sydney, so it wasn't the easiest matchup, even though, of course, they won. Nick Martin, 75. So, yeah, playing against Geelong, he did actually start on the back line this week. He did. Like, last week he was pretty much just playing, like, wing, forward, even a bit of inside midfield time. I'm not sure if he got any CBAs this week. Let me check that. Nick Martin. He got 7%, so he probably attended like 1 or 2 centre bounces. So yeah, again, not much. But yeah, he was coming off of the backline a bit more than what I had seen him do the week before. Like the week before against West Coast, he pretty much played no backline time. This week it seemed like he was a bit more. And yeah, his score deteriorated. Probably again due to Geelong actually losing to Geelong, which yeah, was a bit unexpected. I definitely thought Essendon would win that game. So yeah, Geelong are probably a bit more back in form now, like they were at the start of the season. So that might be a harder matchup for whoever's got them in future rounds. Hawthorn this week. So yeah, I think Nick Martin is a guy we can trade this week, and I think if we do trade him, we don't have to do it this week. He's only got 100 break even. But yeah, he's only got 100 break even. We might do it this week. Collingwood's a somewhat decent matchup. They're not the hardest matchup in the world, but they're also not the easiest. Melbourne, Adelaide, St Kilda also aren't too difficult. We could hold them for those. We could. Okay, and then anyway, going into the midfield, Bontempelli, 157, obviously amazing game from him. Great to see. Davies Uniacke, 72, in that same game. He played really well in the first quarter. He was on about 30, 35 after the first quarter. And yeah, that was pretty much half his score. Like, he just didn't touch it really for the rest of the game. I'm not sure how many touches he actually had. If we check him. 17, 12 handballs. Yeah, that's going to hurt his score. Not having as many kicks in there. Efficient kicks as well. So, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. So, I can understand why he didn't score that well. It just looked like a bit of a lack of effort to me, to be completely honest with you. I just don't think he was really trying as hard as he could have. Goulden, 95. This is a guy who does try hard every week. Was getting some attention from Fremantle. So, look, you cop a score like this every now and then. 95 at the end of the day isn't the worst. Like, I can take a 95 if it's going to be like a once-a-month thing. And you're going to be putting out scores like this otherwise. I can cop that. So, like, yeah, that's fine with me. Merritt, 78. Geez, like, for a guy that I've been lauding, a lot of people have been lauding, saying he's fighting through the tag really well now. Obviously, 125, 135. To drop a 78 in here, against Geelong, which is a good midfield matchup. I know he was getting tagged by Tom Atkins, but it wasn't a super close tag. It was a bit of a tension, but it wasn't super, super close. So, like, the one that he got from Chin Cotter was much tighter tag 2 weeks ago, and he obviously scored a lot better. I guess maybe, yeah, the difference is that they lost this time. Although they did lose to Carlton as well. But I'm pretty sure they lost. Let me check that. Let me fact check. Round 15? No, round 14. No, round 13, actually. Yes, they did lose. Okay, so yeah, I would have expected him to go a bit better, but hey, it is what it is. Okay, Caleb Sarong, 85. Yeah, it seemed like he copped a bit of attention, especially in the second half, so that's okay. He was doing well up to that point, so... Like, look, everyone's susceptible to a tag. Zach Merritt is as well, so I don't want to be too harsh on these guys, but yeah. I mean, especially for Zach Merritt, who I had seen go better in previous weeks with the tag. I think that's what I'm more frustrated at. I have seen him do better with the tag. Caleb Sarong, look, like, when you're getting a tag, it's hard, and James Jordan's a good tagger, so credit where credit's due. He's a good tagger. Butters did cop the Windhager tag, but it honestly didn't really affect him, to be completely honest with you. He just did whatever he wanted out there. A lot of you have probably seen that goal he got from the stoppage, in the first quarter. That was a pretty crazy goal. So, yeah, 22 touches as well, only 22 touches for a 114 is good, so, yeah, good impact from him. Walsh, 148, so this is a score that we've been waiting for, when did I trade him in? It was this Gold Coast game. So, to be honest, what's his 5-week average? We can calculate it here. 114. So, yeah, I've had him for a 114 average. I got him for about what he is here, 560k, 561. So, it's like, yeah, I'm happy with that. 114 average from him. He's played well for me. So, yeah, no, good game from him. Again, I have been feeling like he's been getting a bit underscored. So, good vindication for that. And Rosie, 103. He actually played quite well. I think, look, it's quite clear he doesn't have his full burst of speed back that he did at the start of the season, and you can probably see that. That's probably confirmed, really, through the fact he hasn't kicked any goals since he has returned from injury. So, as we can see, yeah, round 14, 15, 16, hasn't hit the scoreboard at all. So, yeah, 25 touches as well. I think he had about 18 at half time, so only 7 in the second half. I think that's also quite similar to what he did the week before against Brisbane. I think he also had like 17, 18 at half time, and then only got like another 10 in the second half. So I think he's still building back his fitness, but look, I don't think he'll get rested or anything, because Port Adelaide do need to make finals still. They're not guaranteed. So yeah, they're going to need to play their best team. And look, if he scores 100 to 105 for the rest of the year, I'll honestly take that. Yeah, as we can see, there's a lot of midfielders that are putting up sub-premium scores. So if Rosie can put up 100 to 105, I will take it, So that's just that. Dowling, 57. I honestly didn't really see much from what I did watch of this game, but 57's okay. Take that. And Kynan Brown actually did end up playing. He was a late in. So, yeah, he was a sub again. And put up 15 now. So, that's okay. Grundy, Gawn, yeah. Neither played well, really. Again, Grundy had that tough matchup against Fremantle, so that makes sense. But it was at the SCG, so you would hope he'd score a little bit better. But it is what it is. Gawn, 79. Who did he go up against again? Oh, it was Brisbane. McInerney, yeah, you'd like a little bit more, especially in a tighter game. You would have thought he could have impacted a bit more, but hey, it's not the end of the world. Flanders, 114, was good. I think he was on 80, 85 at halftime. Definitely cooled off a lot, but yeah, I remember when I was watching this game, and I was especially after the first quarter, Dacos was on 20, Flanders was on 45, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've just made the wrong captaincy choice. I should have gone Flanders. He's been consistent all year, hasn't dropped below 100. And then by the end of the game, Dacos ended up actually outscoring him, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, because Flanders was looking on. He was looking like he'd score 150 in this game, at least, So, yeah, anyway. Heaney, 85. Again, yeah, he did get some attention from Nat 5, so it is what it is. This is probably his worst game of the year, so it's not actually that bad, to be honest with you. Yeah, his one game that's below a 90 so far. He is definitely cooling down, but, I mean, look, this is his one score in the past month that's below 100, so he's still playing very well at the end of the day. 122 average still. Picking this guy up for, what was it? For 80k at the start of the season. Yeah, absolute bargain regardless. Dane Zorko, 115. So obviously, I really don't know why I put the vice captaincy on this guy. I really shouldn't have. I had a bad feeling about this. And it's not 115 is a terrible score or anything. It's definitely not. It's still a good score. But I really was expecting a bit of a down game. So there was a bit of a stupid move in my opinion. But again, I would have put it on Davies Juniak, who didn't score well. So yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. 115, yeah, it's still good. Take that at the end of the day. So, yeah, that's fine. And Dylan Moore, 136. Okay, yeah, so really good. This guy just works so hard, so hard he works. So, yeah, just an absolute workhorse. Again, like, I know there's going to be down games. And I'm fine with that. That's why, like, when he scored a 74 last week, I wasn't even mad. Because, like, at the end of the day, like, when you're picking Dylan Moore, you know that they're going to come. So I was prepared for it. And yeah, he just ended up scoring really well here with a 136. And yeah, you take these really high-scoring games from him. Hopefully he can do it against Geelong. Fremantle at UTAS Stadium in Tasmania isn't actually that bad at matchup either. Collingwood isn't actually that bad at matchup either. Adelaide, well, he just scored 170 on them nearly. GWS, he put up 89 against them. So, yeah, I mean, Richmond again, he only scored 74 on them. And then North, which he scored 116 on. So he's actually got a pretty decent run for the rest of the year. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see how that goes. But I'm happy with Dylan Moore. I think he'll average around probably 100-ish, 95 maybe. Fisher, 83. So, yeah, look, I'm not sure if he was injured or it was tactical, to be completely honest with you. I didn't see him cop any knock or anything like that during the game, but he may have. I'm not sure. If it's tactical, I kind of don't think it was tactical. I feel like it would have to have been an injury cause move. Like, he was actually playing quite well. So, look, we'll see. If it was injury and he's out this week, we might trade. We do have Joe Richards' cover, who I'll get to, but we might trade still. Not sure. Cano, 54. Yeah, disappointing. To be honest, though, if you look at it, Richmond do actually not give up a super amount of points to key forwards. They actually are in the negatives. So, yeah. I mean, it wasn't the biggest surprise that he didn't have a great game. I was expecting more, though, definitely. Like, he scored 90 against him early in the season. I was expecting at least an 80 here. And yeah, to only have 7 touches, his lowest score of the season, is, yeah, pretty tough. But at least I had him the week before for 118, so I've already gotten a good score out of him. But again, I'm expecting him to at least average 90 for the rest of the year, so look, we'll see. Hopefully he puts out like a 160, 170 in one game, kicks like 8 or 9, something like that. And then Joe Richards, 36, came on in the third quarter. Yeah, he should hopefully be in their best 22. Maybe this was just like, given he had an injury, had like 6 weeks off or whatever, 6 weeks. Oh no, 5 weeks off. So, yeah. 6 touches. He was on track for about an 80 if he played for the full game. So, yeah, 0.8 points per minute is pretty good. So, yeah, honestly, I mean, he's playing on the Friday night this week. If he scores above 90, I'll probably just keep him on field. I'll use him as a loop, obviously. And I'll probably take Kerner off. So, yeah, if he's even above 80, to be honest, because I can't afford a Kerner 80 again, or something like that. I can't afford like a Kerner to score like a 60 or something. So if Richards does probably 80 or above, I'll probably just put him on field. Yeah, I reckon. Maybe even Zach Fisher. Nah, not Zach Fisher. But anyway, Zach Fisher might be out this week. Who knows? But yeah, that's pretty much the team. That's pretty much what we're working with. Again, we only have 4 trades, so it's not like we can pull many levers. We can't, we just can't. So if we do trades this week, yeah, Jack Sinclair's in absolute sparkling form. He should hopefully cop a James Jordan tag, though, for anyone that has him this week. Well, for anyone that doesn't have him this week, he'll probably cop a tag. So, yeah, that should be good. Even if he doesn't start the game getting tagged, he should hopefully, after the first quarter or something, when he's dominating. Like, he literally dominated this game. Why would he not get tagged? Like, seriously. Like, it's pretty clear. Like, Jack Sinclair and Nazaya literally give, like, 70% of St Kilda's, like, drive up the field. If you stop Nazaya Wanganimulera and Jack Sinclair, you pretty much stop St Kilda. It's not that difficult a formula to work out, Port Adelaide did put some time into Nazaya on the weekend, but they really didn't for Jack Sinclair. And, I mean, of those two, Jack Sinclair's the main one, but Nazaya is obviously good as well. But, yeah, I mean, you put time into Jack Sinclair, you're stopping St Kilda. You're going a long way to there, at least, definitely make everyone else beat you, make everyone else hit the hard kicks that these guys do. I think more often than not, you'll be successful in doing that against St Kilda. It's not that difficult a formula to work out, but a lot of teams still haven't. So anyway, that's pretty much that. Yeah, again, if we were to do trades, Hayden Young's not playing that well, and his role is okay if he's kicking goals, but it's just if he will. It's a real question. And he does have a decent run for the next few weeks, which is why I'm going to keep him. So, yeah, as you can see, it's a pretty decent run. One guy I am looking to trade out, though, is Nick Martin. So, luckily, he only went out. He went down about, how much was it? Only 4K. So, I think that's honestly a good sign, and probably telling us it's just time to let him go. I think there's quite a few options we could trade in. I mean, pretty much any of these guys. Like, in the back line, it's really only Jack Sinclair that we can't get. For the most part, we can pretty much get anyone else. Nick Newman, let me check Carlton's run from now on. I haven't looked at him. It is positive. That's interesting. What did he score? He scored 156. He's actually been pretty good. For them, yeah, he's been pretty good. He's honestly a pretty good option. He's been pretty good all season. And I know Carlton do have a few guys out still, but they are getting them back. And I mean, you wouldn't think he'd cop a tag. Like, there's a lot of other people in the Carlton team that you would tag before him. Cripps, Walsh, TDK, but he's a ruck, so you're not going to tag him. I mean, you'd probably even tag Adam Sard before you tag Nick Newman. So, he's actually got a good run to come, to be honest with you. GWS, Lockie Whitfield's also playing quite well. Richmond, so this is just designated kickers. Another guy I am looking at potentially is Elliot Yeo. He didn't play well on the weekend, but again, tough circumstances for him, so it kind of makes sense. How many games at Optus do they have? They've got 4 of the remaining 8 games at Optus. So, yeah, I don't know. He's not going to get tagged, you would think, because they'll tag Harley Reid instead. So, yeah, I don't know. There's a few good options. I think it's probably out of Nick Newman, Elliot Yeo. Honestly, McGovern's playing very well as well, to be completely honest with you. He has been since the start of the season as well. So, you definitely could go him. I think I'm just a bit scared of the injuries, especially since, as you go later into the year, there's like less and less point of playing him because he could get an injury. They're obviously out of the final contention and everything, so yeah, I'm definitely scared he could get rested, especially because he has played every game this year, and like, when was the last time he did that? Who knows when, if he even has ever done that. So yeah, Jordan Clark has been a bit more quiet the last few weeks. He did start with the James Jordan tag, but then he went to Caleb Sarong. Yeah, he had this really good streak, but again, these were against like teams that give up a lot of points to defenders. He only scored 1 and 5 against Richmond early in the year. This is at Optus. And if they're not going to chip it around like they were, then there's not a heap of point going him. Lockie Whitfield is a guy that I reckon you could definitely get and could definitely look at. Again, they've got a good run as well to come. Carlton this week, I'm not sure who Chin Cotter will go to. If it's going to be Whitfield or it might be a Tom Green or something. I get the feeling it'll probably be Whitfield though. So you probably don't want him this week. In regards to, well, yeah, you probably don't want him this week. After that though, his fixture is pretty good. I mean, Hawthorn, it says Hawthorn that are like a green team, so that they're an easy team for designated kickers to score against. But that's not really because Hawthorn like just leave defenders open to kick the ball around. It's more just because Hawthorn have been having it in their forward half the whole game, so it's been in the opposing team's back half. Like if you saw yesterday, I think like McGovern, Barras, Jaden Hunt, Liam Duggan were all named in the best for West Coast, who of course are all defenders, because Hawthorn just had it in their forward half the whole game. So yeah, it's interesting. Bailey Dow's not someone that I'd be looking at. Can't afford him anyway, but yeah, I wouldn't want him anyway. Duggan has been scoring well. Let's see. He's been scoring okay, but yeah, probably not. Again, this is the guy that I used on my route when I came 56th, if we show that, in 2020. I actually got kind of dogged, to be honest. Like, I saw these scores, 117, 102, 117, and then I traded him in here, 84 against St Kilda, 97 against North Melbourne to finish off the year. But hey, if he scored like this, I probably could have come top 50 for the remaining 2 rounds. But it is what it is. So I'm not going to hold it against him. It's 4 years ago now. So it is what it is. Anyone else? Oh, Sicily's playing actually really well as well. But to be honest, like he didn't play the fourth quarter either in this. Like, that's pretty crazy to think about. He didn't play the fourth quarter in this game. Still scored 142. I'm sure he got scaled up a lot, obviously, because the game was done. 1.9 points per minute. That is an insane mark. You know, like he would have scored like 200 nearly if he played a full game. So, yeah. But yeah, we're probably not going to go him just because injuries I'm a bit scared of for him. And again, we're not going to have many trades left this season, so I want to go guys that are durable. So, given all of that, I think it's probably going to be Nick Newman that we go. And the thing that I want to be careful of is I'm not just like looking for a pod or something, which is what a lot of people do. And I think that's where a lot of people just end up kind of wrecking their team towards the end of the season, because they just go like pod hunting. You know, it's like, why look for a pod? You know, just let the game come to you. Like, pick the right player. Like, I'm not trying to look for a pod with Nick Newman. He's the guy that I genuinely think can score the best from here on out of all the options I had. So I'm gonna pick him. You know, I'm gonna trade him in. I'm not just gonna say, you know, look at all the guys under 5% ownership and then pick of those. You know, I think that's just it's a bit rudimentary. You know, so yeah, that's how I'm going about that. 3 trades left. I kind of want to use another one this week. I'm just addicted to trading. I really am. Even though I shouldn't. But I really want to. I do really want to. If I was going to use another trade this week, who would it be on? I reckon maybe Zach Fisher. Who would we trade in for him? Well, let me see Rankin's break even. Because I do want Rankin, but they've got a hard matchup this week, Brisbane, and then St Kilda. We could potentially wait until after round 18, see what he's priced at. So his break even is 114. Like, he's not cheap. He's 578. So he's putting up amazing scores. So, like, I did say he's got tough matchups to come, and he does. You know, he just said Sydney, well, Adelaide. Well, he actually didn't play in that game, but he had GWS, Brisbane, and St Kilda. Maybe St Kilda aren't the toughest, but Brisbane and GWS are. So he's probably a guy that I do want to get in just because he is scoring so well, even though he's not getting tagged. I don't know why he didn't get tagged. I would have definitely put Bedford on Rankin instead of Dawson. But yeah, I mean, maybe GWS would have actually won if they did the right move. But you know, they decided to tag Dawson instead. Who, to be fair, Dawson played well, Dawson didn't play well because they put him on him. But yeah, I think pretty clearly the right move would have been to put Bedford onto Rankin and then Ward onto Dawson. You know, that's what they've been doing for a lot of the tagging wise. Like, they've only started tagging with Bedford the past few weeks, but they haven't been tagging with Ward for the rest of the season. And I mean, Ward doesn't have to be like an inside midfield matchup. You can just do it at stoppages after the first centre clearance. It's not really too difficult. But yeah, anyway, if we were going to trade Fisher, and we would only trade him if he got injured and he wasn't going to play. That's the only reason. It wouldn't be just because he's out of form, because I think he'll still score well. But if we were, it probably would be Jai Caldwell, who's got a low break even. But also, I'm a bit scared because I think Darcy Parish is going to come back in and probably take some of his CBAs away. And he doesn't score as well when he doesn't get the CBAs. Like, again, if we look at it, so he's got 90 and 75. So those have, by far been his 2 biggest the last 2 weeks. And that's when he's been scoring the best, basically, for the last 2 weeks. Well, Adelaide 129 as well. So if we look at it, he did have a patch earlier in the season where we had more CBAs as well. So that was against Port Adelaide, Western Bulldogs, and Adelaide. So that was rounds 4, 5, and 6. If we look at what he scored then, 499, 583, 6, 129. So he is scoring okay with lower CBAs as well. 100 there, 103. But for the most part, he needs his CBAs to score, as most midfielders do. So, given that, I think I'm alright with passing him, especially because Darcy Parish is likely going to come back in the next week or 2. Or actually, I don't know when he's going to come back, but I'm sure it'll be in the next few rounds. And as we can see, Parish takes up a ton of CBAs himself, you know. So, yeah, Sam Durham also hasn't had the most CBAs the past 2 weeks. He usually has a little bit more, although he's been having a bit. But yeah, I think they do definitely want to put Caldwell like into their main midfield mix from now on. So I'm sure like he will like get a lot from now, but I don't think it's going to be like this high. I don't think it's going to be like 75, 90 every week. I think it'll be more closer to like 60, 65, maybe 70%. So I think these scores for that reason are a little bit inflated, and these two aren't the toughest matchups in the midfield either, even though they did lose to Geelong on the weekend. So in saying that though, to be honest, like these matchups aren't the toughest either. Collingwood, Melbourne, Adelaide, St Kilda for midfield wise, so he could score well against them. So look, we'll see. I'm not exactly sure. Like we've got to do something, you know. We can't just like stay idle and let all these bad scores, you know, come through for the next few rounds. We've got to pull some triggers, and we do have the ability to do that. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't think we'll use another trade unless we get an injury. So I think we'll just make that one trade this week. I think Nick Martin's got to go. He just hasn't been good, you know, at the end of the day. So yeah, I mean, since Ridley's come back, since, you know, Redmond's taken a lot of kickouts and everything, which has been for a while. But like, let's see, when was the last time Nick Martin got a kickout? It might have been on the weekend. I can't actually remember, to be honest. I didn't really watch that full game or anything. So let's see. Nick Martin, he did have one kickout actually, but yeah, 1-0, 1-0. 2. Like really, this was the good stretch where he had a lot of kickouts. The last like 6 weeks, like look at that. In his last 6 games that he's played, he's had 4 kickouts. So as a defender that we've got him in the team as, you know, he's been playing a lot more forward wing and everything quite clearly. So yeah, a lot of the kickouts have obviously gone to Ridley. He's getting a lot of them. He hasn't been scoring the best, though, the past 2 weeks, but he's been getting a lot of them. McGrath's been getting a lot of them. Redmond's still been taking his bit. So, yeah, even Heppel has been getting more than Nick Martin, which is honestly shameful. So, yeah, for that reason, I think Nick Martin's got to go. So, we'll see what happens there. But, yeah, that's just what we're going to do this week. And captaincy-wise, okay, so Dacos against Essendon. What did he score against them earlier in the year? I think it was alright. 128, yeah, okay. Okay, Sheezel, what did he get? Has he played Gold Coast before? He probably has. Oh, he did early in the year, 86. Oh, that was like when he started going into the midfield, wasn't it? Yeah. He'll probably go better against them this week. Marvel Stadium. But will they win? They probably will, because Gold Coast can't win away from home. But yeah. Houston, 59, definitely not going to captain him. Ryan, against Richmond, he did put up a 197 against them earlier in the year. But again, that's when they were chipping it around more. Probably not going to do that as much this week, so I'm not going to captain him or anything. Newman against GWS. Okay, well, how many points did GWS give up per week to designated kickers? It's actually quite a few. No, that's Hawthorn. GWS give up even more. So, that's a pretty good matchup. We could look to captain him, potentially. Or vice-captain. Definitely not captain. But we'll see. Hayden Young, 62. Against Richmond, he did score 130 against them. Kicked 2 goals against them earlier in the year when he played. And that was pretty much like full-time midfield. But again, probably not a captaincy option. Bontempelli is definitely a guy you could look at for captaincy. Against Port Adelaide, what has he scored against them recently? Pretty good. And, I mean, just his form has been sensational. So, yeah, he's definitely a guy you got to factor in. Davies Uniacke hopefully does score better this week. Obviously, has a comeback game. Gold Coast midfield is pretty difficult, but only really when you're going up against them playing at home, like playing at Gold Coast home ground in Gold Coast. Away from home, the midfield actually isn't that good, and it's gotten worse as the season's gone on. So he hopefully does score well this week, LDU. Goulden, against St Kilda, I mean, they didn't tag Jack Sinclair, so hopefully they don't tag Goulden, who's a similar-ish playing style. So, yeah, hopefully he goes... Wait, what am I talking about? They're playing St Kilda. He's not playing Port Adelaide. So, did St Kilda tag anyone from Port Adelaide? Winday get tagged? Butters, but he's not going to tag Goulden, because Goulden's on a wing. He'll probably tag like Heaney or something, or Warner, I would imagine, Windager this week. So, yeah. Anyway, probably not going to captain him though. Merritt against Collingwood, I think he's got a good record, but I'm not looking to captain him or anything. Sarong, let's see. Against Richmond, he did score, I think, 137 earlier in the year. Yeah, and that's when I captained him in that game, so that was good. Butters has got the Dogs. And Adelaide Oval actually could be a good matchup. I don't think we'll get tagged. Yeah, that could be a good matchup. That could be. Walsh against GWS. Could cover Bedford tag though, so probably not going to go with him. Although Bedford could go to Cripps, and I think if you were tagging anyone from Carlton, it would be Cripps right now. But still could go Walsh. Rosie, probably not going to captain him. Grundy against St Kilda, who do go up points to rucks, but they actually haven't been giving up as many as they had earlier in the year. If we look specifically at them, St Kilda. So yeah, they used to be like the giving up the most points in the whole league to rucks. Rowan Marshall, basically that would be. They still go up a lot, 11.59 points per game, but it's not as much. And given it's at Marvel rather than the SCG, I probably won't captain him. Gawn against West Coast. It is at the MCG, so I think this is potentially a good game that you could captain him in, provided it's not wet. I think I'd definitely look at the weather beforehand, but if it's dry, I reckon you could definitely look to captain him here. Even though, yeah, he only scored 109 against them early in the year, but they lost that game, and it was at Optus. So, yeah, Flanders against North Melbourne. Again, I think he'll score well. I mean, he scored, a 150 just a few weeks ago when they played against St Kilda at Marvel. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll score well. But, yeah, given it's early in the round, it'll probably only be a vice-captain. So, yeah, Heaney against St Kilda. Again, he'll probably... Oh, he might not copper Winday a matchup, but he also could. So, probably not going to captain. Zorko against Adelaide. I think he'll score well, but I'm not prepared to put a captaincy on him. Moore, probably not prepared to put a captaincy on him either. Hopefully he scores well though as well. Fisher against Gold Coast. I think he scored well in this game. Also, Colby McKedger could be back now as well. So, yeah, he did put up a 140, but Colby McKedger could be back. Although McKedger also played in this game. So, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he did at least. But yeah, anyway, Cano, hopefully he does play well in this game. No Sam Taylor either, but I'm not going to put a captaincy on him. Richards, look, Essendon, do they give up points to small forwards or just general forwards? Let's see. Oh, they're positive, but not that many. So we're not going to captain Joe Richards. Billy Dowling, who's he got again? He's got Brisbane. So he plays on a wing. He's not really a defender. He's like a general forward, wing defender. Say wing. Brisbane, oh no, they're negative. So we're not going to captain Dowling. I think Brown, okay, if Brown plays, he's got West Coast. Okay. And then as it's a general defender, they are positive, but again, Brown could be sub, so we're probably not going to captain him. I think what we'll do is we'll go Bontempelli into Nick Newman this week. That's what I'm thinking. Because Newman's just safe, he's very safe, as we can see. Besides his 57, I don't know why he scored so bad in that game. And Carlton did win. Yeah, I'm not sure, but he's playing well, so I'm happy taking him there. So we'll just do that, I reckon. Yeah, I don't know. He is safe, Nick Newman, but I don't know about captaincy. Maybe it's more maybe it's a Gawn. There we go. Yeah, maybe Gawn. Bontempelli into Gawn. Either way, hopefully we don't have to get to captaincy because we're just going to put the vice on Bont. And then we can loop with... We'll have to be a defender. Oh no, they're both playing early. I guess it'll have to be Livingston, but that means we can't use Richards to loop. Really. Yeah, Fizentini plays in that game. So this, third game here, but really the second game, because these both start at the same time. Okay, well, we'll see what Bontempelli scores, and then we'll work out really if we need to use a captaincy. I guess it also depends on what Richard scores in that game. If it is a score we're going to loop or not. Actually, I'm not sure. I haven't thought about this enough. Is this even going to work? These guys all play early in the round. It's kind of dog, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to do captaincy-wise. I think Bontempelli's definitely going to be involved in it. I'm not sure who the other person's going to be. I think Dacos is probably going to cop some type of attention, though. And I'm sure Bontempelli will as well, but Bontempelli will score regardless. So, yeah, I'm not too sure at this point, but I think Bontempelli would definitely be involved in the captaincy. Yeah. I'll work it out later. Again, I'm a full-time SuperCoach YouTuber, so I do this stuff for a living now. So, it is what it is. But yeah, that's pretty much this video. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.